Alright guys, welcome back to another Opera Omnia video where we're going to be talking about our next newest character dropping to Global DFFOO, which is going to be Leonora. Now this video format is going to be a little bit different from my usual Should You Pull videos. As you can tell by the sound of my voice, I sound terrible, and yes, it's been a rough couple of days. My throat is aching, but I wanted to go ahead and work on this video for you guys so that way it is out there for those who are curious on whether or not you should pull for Leonora. So bear with me as I try to do this video, or do my very best to let you guys know. But anyways though, with all that being said, let me know down in the comment section below what your plans are going to be, if you're going to be pulling for Leonora or not. Feel free to let me know. And as always, if you guys do enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for future content. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. A big thank you, as always, to all of my current YouTube members. Thank you so much for supporting what I do. If you ever thought about becoming a member of the channel, you can either click the first link in the description of this video or the join button below for details on what perks you gain for becoming a supporter of the channel, and a big thank you ahead of time if you do decide to become one. So let's go over Leonora's kit, and I'm gonna let you guys know whether or not you should pull for her in the upcoming banners. Now, Leonora provides great support slash defensive auras. I'm not going to be going over the supportive auras just yet. The main thing that I want to let everybody know when it comes to her defensive auras is going to be that she does provide a 30% HP damage resistor, and she also provides party-wide last stand, which you don't see too often in support characters. Now, there are support characters that are able to provide party-wide last stand. There are other units outside of the support category that is also able to provide party-wide last stand, but to have Leonora actually offer that to your team is actually a pretty big convenience and can come in handy if you run into those situations where the boss is going to hit you out of nowhere with a huge HP attack. Then having that party-wide last stand can be pretty helpful. Now, she also provides consistent healing slash brave battery on most skills, and it's not just on her skill, or not just on almost all of her skills, but also on her follow-up. She is able to provide brave battery and healing, and she does that very, very well. Now, her overhead value is going to be based on her max brave cap. So before the BT, her max brave cap is going to be at 100%. So the value is not going to be as high as you would think it would be. Now, this is going to be very important for Leonora because it is going to determine what her LD damage is going to be, because her LD damage is based on 200% of her stored value on said overhead. Her follow-up attack is going to be based on 150% of the stored value on her overhead. Now, one thing to note about her follow-up attack is that if Leonora is not fully healed, then she is not going to trigger her follow-up. So you got to make sure that she is always healthy. Yes, she does provide HP regen, so as long as you have that, and if that HP regen is potent enough to be able to fully heal her, then you'll be good to go. You really don't have to worry too much about your follow-up not triggering. So when it comes to her overhead value, how to increase it? Well, it is going to be based on the party-wide healing. Now, that doesn't mean that it has to be on ability use. When it comes to increasing her overhead value, it is going to be based on not just that, but also just like any active healing any type of healing that happens while it is her or anybody else's turn. It is going to increase the value on her overhead. So increasing that value is not going to be a hard whatsoever to do so. Another thing about her overhead is that if by chance somebody actually gets knocked out, if they get KO'd, then her overhead also makes it so that it consumes the stored value and revives them to 50% of max HP another convenient thing that Leonora is able to offer. So yeah, her overhead is pretty important and pretty important to her kit overall. Now, Leonora is an FR charger for the Black Crystal group. For those players who have not worked on the Black Crystal characters for their weekly Crystal Quest, Leonora is a really good choice when it comes to being the FR charger for the Black Crystal characters. So that's something to consider if you are needing an FR charger for future runs on the weekly Crystal Quest. The nice thing about her the nice thing about her skill 1 is that it is able to extend buffs by 1 turn, and seeing as how the buffs is going to decrease by 1 turn, basically whatever the turn count is for your buffs, it is going to remain while you are spamming her skill 1. Now, speaking of a force time, her FR conditions, though they are slightly restrictive, they're not hard to meet. So, a 40% increase whenever a character has an active overhead, and a 40% increase whenever said character is fully healed. So you can see where the slight restriction is at when it comes to her overhead is that you need to pair her up with characters that have any type of overhead so that you are able to meet both, you are able to meet the first condition. And in the fully healed part, well, I mean, that's easy. Now, the BT grants good auras to the party. So the BT offers attack up increases, max HP up increases, brave gains up, brave damage cap up, HP damage up, and HP damage cap up. The BT effect does last for 8 turns. The other thing that her BT effect does is that it increases the max brave cap from 100% to 200%, meaning that the damage output for her follow-up and her LD ability is going to be much higher. Now, from what I have seen from some of the runs that I have done myself in the past using Leonora, the highest that I was able to get Leonora's, and this is just going based off of the characters that I currently had at the time that she was released on JP. So at most, you would see her LD ability deal about like maybe 10 mil on the 3 HP attacks that it is able to deal. Then when it comes to her follow-up range between like 8 to 10 mil. If you want to check out the gameplay, you are more than welcome to do so. But this also, I guess, a little disclaimer that I do want to add is that this is also going to be based off of runs that I have done off screen that I have not uploaded to the channel. So because of the increase in the max brave cap, you're gonna notice if you do watch some runs that her damage output for her follow-up and her LD ability are gonna be increasing much higher. Of course, because that number or that value is going to be increased after you have a BT effect active, you are going to have to increase the number on that value with healing. So before, like, let's say like you go all out when it comes to that, make sure that you are like in whatever form. Make sure that you just heal yourself, heal the team, whatever it may be, so that way you are able to increase her overhead value. And thankfully, though, that follow-up is it is backed up by force time. It is affected by any current force time. So so overall, I'm going to say Leonora, is she a must pull? In my opinion, no, I do not think that she is a must pull. Leonora is another support character that is able to provide a lot of things that a lot of previous support characters is able to offer, but that's really about it. There's not really anything, in my opinion, that makes her stand out compared to some of the other support characters that we currently have. It depends on like what you are looking for exactly when it comes to Leonora. Honestly, if you are thinking about pulling for Leonora and if you are on a budget, I would say you can easily go up to FR if you're not really worried about the damage portion of increasing her follow-up and her LD ability. I think up to F4 would be more than enough for Leonora, but if you really want to go all out when it comes to increasing the damage and providing even more ores, especially with the HP max HP up increase to the party, then chasing her BT would not be a bad idea, but it's not something that I feel like it's entirely necessary to have for Leonora. But again, because of the fact that like let's say from my point of view, with some of the support characters that I currently have at the moment, I feel like with Leonora, again, I don't think that she really like stands out compared to some of the previous ones that we have had. The only reason I myself would actually consider pulling for her is if I needed an FR charger for my weekly Crystal Crest whenever I do decide to work on the Black Crystal characters. But other than that, I don't really think that she's like necessary to have. For any newer players, I would say, yeah, she could be a pretty solid choice to consider pulling for, and then you would need to have everything related to her BT. But I feel like with some of the with like, let's say for example Ignis, who just recently dropped on Global, I feel like he would probably be a better choice overall over Leonora, because it's not really, with Ignis it's really easy to actually play with him and get him to whatever stance you want him to be in. But with Leonora, all you're basically doing is just building her up until she is ready to go all out, and then that's when you are going to get what you are actually seeking out of her, which is going to be like the big damage increases with her follow-up and her LD ability. So again, in my opinion, she's not a must pull. Yeah, she can be convenient to have, but that's really like the biggest thing about her, and that's about it. At least that's just how I personally look see in Leonora. So other than that though, guys, that's gonna be it for the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Again, I apologize that I sound like crap, and this video, the video format is not the usual video format that you are used to. Hopefully I'll get better here the next few days, but we'll see. But anyways though, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video.